The focus being on implicit curriculum because, as I said, emotional intelligence and adaptability is no longer skills. If you can outsource concepts, the basic fundamentally using artificial intelligence, but not these values and skills. Personalized learning. I think that is going to be the next thing, that we have to create curriculum for every child. Differentiated instruction was where you have the curriculum and you just change the strategies. But you personalize the learning by giving children a voice and a choice. Let them pushing them to the marks that we have different strategies at their own pace to learn, whether they want to learn from school or whether they want to learn from home. That is where technology can be used. Also, they co-plan their learning, where even the parents are involved, the child is involved as to what they want to learn, and we just need to have personalized learning is something that we really need to work on. That will give you the edge. Technology. If we use technology to create, we allow children to create instead of consume, where they are passive learners, technology can be beneficial. Will technology replace teacher? Steve Jobs has said, teachers inspire curiosity. Artificial intelligence will not do that. Teachers create an environment for collaboration and support. Artificial intelligence will not do that in a classroom. Imagine walking into a class and listening to water cycle in one dull, monotone tone, whereas the teacher will be asking questions. So our jobs are not going to be affected. We'll all have our jobs.
Work on issues of public health. Shabana means a path. That's a life path. A woman of substance who has stuck to her beliefs and principles. Ladies and gentlemen, Shabana.
It's an because there was no money at home, was sent to a municipal school, a municipal Urdu school. And every day, my mother tells me, every day I would drag my feet and I would cry and I would weep and I would say, I don't want to go to school. And then when I got my results, I got a 0 in every single subject. 0, 0, 0. And you know what my mother did? My mother said, this child is not daft, she's protesting. She is protesting and we will have to take cognizance of this fact. And so they pulled me out of that school. And when they could not afford it, because remember, my father was getting only 40 rupees a month, they pulled me out and put me in a school which was Queen Mary School, because my mother recognized that this was something that her child needed. Tell me, How many of us are skilled to do that? We would beat up our children, we would say our children are daft, we would have all kinds of problems with our children. But for parents to recognize, I think, will be the first step. 2, I grew up in a family which believed art should be used as an instrument for social change, where gender equality was a given. My mother had to start working, and so there were times she was working with Prithvi Theatre, and there were times when she also had to go to on tour. And so she would be away from the house for a month or 2. It was my father who would dress us up, get us ready to school, and take us to school. What did that do for us? What it did for us is, without anybody tom-tomming about it, it made us take gender justice and equality between the sexes as a given. We took it for granted that men and women were equal and that they should get the same opportunities. There was nothing that I was ever told in my life, ye to sirf ladke kar sakte hain. So I was 19 years old before I even realized that something that I take for granted is actually the exception rather than the rule, that the world doesn't function like this. And that came as a surprise to me. So when I was listening to Jack Ma, I don't think we need to say anything more than that, because that's what he's talking about. He's talking about our increasing dependence on machines, on technology, things that can take us forward. Like Divyaji said, yes, teachers and technology can exist. What are the lessons that we need to learn? The lessons are, we need values in our life. We need to be able to interact. We need to be innovative. It was music to my ears just as I was coming in to hear Divya say that parents have to recognize today, teachers have to recognize today that not everybody wants to do a 9-to-6 job. They want to be freelancers. They want to do things that you've not explored. It was unthinkable that you can also pursue music and you can also pursue engineering. I remember when I first used to go to America, I used to find it so strange that here is a doctor and along with that she's also doing geology and gemology, and I said, why are you doing that? But that is the need of the hour. This can only happen in the formative years. If, to me, single-mindedly, the most important, there are very, very, very many important things in our society, but the first thing that we have to tackle is patriarchy. We have to remove patriarchy from the system. Patriarchy is a belief that entitles a boy child over a girl child for sheer dint of being a boy. I work in a school in Mijwan, a small little village in Azamgarh, where it is completely taken for granted, where it was a time where girls were not even allowed to go to school because it was the boy who was valued over the girls. Because of the interventions that we've made over the years, the power equations have slightly tilted. And in fact, girls are getting the benefit of it. And we have seen, when we look at results, when we look at school results, when we look at CBSE results, we see that in many, many situations that the girls who are topping the boys. Why? Because they have been given an opportunity. So we need an education that doesn't tell us that we need to learn things by rote. I remember as a child just learning things by rote, and now I feel the need that I should join nature study ka second class. Second standard I should join because I don't remember anything that I learned by rote. But things that I applied, things that were made available to me, what was it that I really learned from school? I learned moral values. I learned compassion. I learned that one is not an island, that you have to interact with human beings. That requires a mindset which is a complete change. It depends entirely on the teacher. Because I work in this tiny little village in Mijwa in Azamgarh, and we had constant problems with not finding enough teachers who could teach them English, we started Skype lessons from America, and there were very many volunteers who would get up at all odd hours. But then I realized for these girls, even the fact that the teacher is there on the screen, what they actually need is a physical presence. One person there who can guide them, who can inspire them, who can consider them as individuals rather than as a group. This is easier said than done. The requirements today are requirements from parents to recognize, and more so from the teacher. What we are asking the teacher to do is not the most easy thing to do. To say that you have to pay individual attention to every child and not put the child through a test one size fits all requires reskilling, requires learning, relearning, but above all, it requires commitment. If the teacher is committed, if the parent is committed, then there is nothing that can make the child not rise to the level of her own potential. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Ms. Shabana. Thank you, ma'am. We are going to start with the lighting of the lamp because I think that was skipped. So I would now request all the dignitaries to please join us for the lighting of the lamp, after which we have an opening session by a young child author who's going to read from her book. So Neha, can you stay ready please? Because after the lighting of the lamp, it's going to be you. So can we have the National Committee members? Mr. Prajot Rajan, Dr. Kamini Rege, Ms. Asha Verma, Ms. Rekha Shahani, President of Early Child Association, Dr. Swati Gopat. Fire ensures success for our Early Childhood Association. Flame symbolizing wisdom and knowledge for all of us at Early Childhood Association. The flame of lamp always burns upwards. We at the Early Childhood Association yearn to acquire such knowledge as to take towards the higher ideals. The brilliance of light does not diminish despite its repeated use of the light to light many more lamps. So the true knowledge does not lessen when shared with or imparted to others. To make this morning a blessed one, invoke Goddess Saraswati by filling the lamp of knowledge and wisdom. Hold with patience with the lamp lit.
Neha.
Thank you to all of the dignitaries here, welcome ma'am. And now we are moving ahead with a very important session, a very interesting session of the morning. Standing here with me. First, let me tell you why. Early Childhood Association strongly believes in quality in education, and when our children get these quality circles, their unique innate talents are identified and nurtured. Presenting Miss Neha Gupta, the youngest author, who is the first youth ambassador of Nobel laureate Kailash Satyarthi's Children's Foundation. Neha has, yes. We are glad to announce the launch of Early Childhood Association booklet, the comprehensive quality audit tool for kindergartens, ECE centers, preschools. The same is available. Launching next, another important booklet, My Safety Book. My Safety Book by NGO Arpan.
Is there anyone from Arpan here? Arpan.
That is My Safety Book by Arpan. registration bag.
Mr. Ravi, come on.
May we have Mr. Ravi Sandalani, please? Yes, audience, we'd like to see your pom-poms, your lights, your claps. Next, we have the Early Childhood Association booklet, Teacher Training Module for Early Childhood Care and Education. That's one book we are surely going to look at. I'm going to announce the next award coming up. Audience, can we have it done, please? The next award is the most coveted NGO in early childhood education. I am proud to announce the next stage. May I request the award winners to please come here close to me so we can move a little faster. Thank you. Can Kids, Ms. Sabita Vijayan. Child Rights Foundation, Mr. Jatin. Live Trust, Ms. Poonam Lalwani. The most coveted journalist in early childhood education.
Bye. Ma'am, yeah. Your right side.
The next award is for the most coveted journalist in early childhood education. Mr. Patrick from Sasana News, Pune. And Ms. Vinod Mazumdar from Telugu, Kolkata. May we have you here with us, please? The next award is the most coveted child development officer for the CCE program. Preeti Bailey from Bhavnagar. Please join us now. And the most coveted ICS supervisor of Maternal Reports Project Head for Anganwadis, Telangana.
Need to concentrate on who's here. Don't go ahead. Gino. Say it's Gino.
Ma'am, yeah.
Ms. Vinod Mazumdar, Telegraph, Kolkata.
Ma'am, these are for Anganwadi. Anganwadi supervisor. Come, Preeti Bain.
That is Preeti Bailey from Bhavnagar, the most coveted child development project officer.
Ma'am.
I'd like to announce Ms. Lakshmi Bai, the most coveted ICDS services. She is not here with us today, but we definitely recognize her contribution. The next award is for the exemplary contribution in early childhood care and education. And this we would like to award to Ms. Zareen Malwa, who is not here with us today, but we will definitely be sending the award to her. A huge round of applause for Ms. Malwa, please. And this is also shared by Ms. Dina. Welcome, ma'am. We are honored to have you with us. We award to Ms. Leena Asher, founder of Kangaroo Kids, who is not here with us today, but the award.
Leena has a personal emergency, but Leena is the one who can be credited for starting the preschool for the first time in this country, where private preschool.
Yeah. Ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ma'am, Aparajita Rai, business.
sir.
Yeah, I'll just take it. Yes, sure. Actually,
Thank you, ma'am. We're honored to have you here in our presence. And we're also thankful for all the initiatives that have been launched at these stands, and there are lots more to
इसमें
go.
ज़्यादा जगह इसमें नहीं है. इसमें
She is the executive director and she is ex-SMD.
She wants to see your lights. She wants to see your pom-pom. Come on, your lights and your pom-poms.
Shabana ma'am.
ज़बान में अगर आप
नहीं मैम, हम लोग बोलते हैं मराठी में बोलते हैं. यहाँ ही. We speak. We have speakers who speak.
Teachers who've been working towards early childhood, you've been made the brand ambassador of the
I have
event.
not
You've
been
not
made.
accepted
No, she's not
it, but
accepted
she's
it.
not accepted
I'm sorry, I don't want to talk to you. Anybody else has a better question to ask me?
इस कोर्स से जुड़े हुए हैं, इसके बारे में बताइए एंड कैसा था आपका एक्सपीरियंस यहाँ पे आने का?
मुझे बहुत अफसोस है कि मुझे जितना वक्त यहाँ देना चाहिए था उतना वक्त मैं नहीं दे पाई हूँ, क्योंकि मैं समझती हूँ कि ये कॉन्फ्रेंस जो है वो उसका महत्व बहुत ज़्यादा है. हम लोगों को इस विषय पे जितनी जानकारी होनी चाहिए उतनी जानकारी नहीं है. और सही बात तो ये है कि जब तक हम अपने बच्चों के अर्ली चाइल्डहुड पे पूरी तरह से कंसंट्रेट नहीं करेंगे और उसको वो तवज्जो नहीं देंगे जो वो डिज़र्व करता है, क्योंकि साइकियाट्रिस्ट ये कहते हैं कि 7 साल की उम्र तक जो बच्चा बन जाता है वो ही उसकी आइडेंटिटी हो जाती है. तो वी नीड टू इन्वेस्ट इन अर्ली चाइल्डहुड. देयर आर नोशंस अबाउट व्हाट अर्ली. आई वाज वेरी touched when you said the schoolification of kindergarten. It's something that I had not even thought of before that. And so the demands of today is education has to be revisited. It has to be revisited in early childhood. Teachers have to be prepared for what globalization and technology has done. And so I congratulate them for holding this and for educating me. Thank you.
Ma'am, yeah. Ma'am, look here.
Yeah, ma'am, both of you here?
Pratik Kam, he's our Ahmedabad territory head. One of the few males which we have who are working.
Ma'am, yeah.
Rekha?
Okay, thank you.
If somebody else has to come, you can bring us. Pratik Kam. Pratik, please. Rekha? सामने से ले.
Sir, please एक फोटो ले लीजिए.
एक मिनट पहले मेरा Yo, all of you here. Your left side.
Wait, ma'am.
इधर सामने आ जाइए प्रतीक, एक मिनट सामने.
Ma'am. Yeah.
Tell it here.